same, but. So 1, 2, and 3 were all the like simplify. And again, if you saw this on a test and it was multiple choice, it would be like one of the answers would have been it simplified. If it was open-ended, it'd be like this. So number 1, what's something you could do here? And I kind of think it's the only thing to do, but what would you do here? You can FOIL it out, right? This ends up being the difference 2 squared, which is secant squared x minus 1. If you have not memorized your trig functions yet, I would do it, or your trig identities. Sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. Then what? Tan squared plus 1 equals secant squared. And then the last one? Good. 1 plus cotangent squared, sorry, equals cosecant squared. So if it were me and I didn't have those memorized yet, I would make a habit of like literally rewriting them almost every time you do these kinds of questions. By the time your test rolls around December 10th, you'd have them like pretty locked in. All right, so after I FOIL it out and I get secant squared x minus 1, I would see that this has part of that, right? It's tan squared plus 1 equals secant, but if I move the 1 to the other side, I end up with what? What is secant squared minus 1? Don't all yell at me once, it's really rude. What is secant squared minus 1? Tangent squared. All right, then go to the next one, okay? What's something you could do with number 2? Don't make me turn this into something I make you turn it in. Come on, people. 1 minus sine squared is what? What's 1 minus sine squared? Cosine squared. So secant squared x times cosine squared x. And then what? Bye. Happy Thanksgiving. Secant is 1 over cosine times cosine, and then the cosines cancel. And I just get 1. Oops. All right, go to 3. What's one thing you can do with 3? One of the things we could do, and probably the easiest, is move these to the top, right? As they move to the top, they become their reciprocals. So cosine becomes what? Secant. And then cotangent would come to the top as tangent, so it'd be tangent squared. And if you go to your Pythagorean identities, we've got the 1 with secant. It's tan squared plus 1 equals secant squared, so secant squared minus tangent squared would equal 1. All right, then 5-2 is where we had to verify. So now I know the goal I'm working towards, but I got to get there. And you can't skip steps here. So for number 4, one of the things you could do is bring secant to the top. When I bring secant to the top, it becomes cosine. And then there's a sine on the other side, which kind of tells me I have to break down that tangent. This becomes cosine squared times sine squared over cosine squared. And then one of the cosines cancels out, and I end up with sine squared over cosine, which is the same thing as sine theta times sine of theta over cosine. And because it's a product, I can split this up any way I want. I could keep the cosine with just that sign, or I could have kept the cosine with just the front sign. It doesn't matter. But sine over cosine becomes tangent. And so I end up with sine times tan, which is what the right side of my statement said. All right, number 5. What do we do? Just bring them to the top. This becomes cotangent, and this becomes tangent. It's a perfect example that you could have made this a lot more complicated, but that's probably one of the easiest things to do. And I don't care about the order. Like, if the order is different, it's fine. You can leave it like that. But you could have switched it. It doesn't matter. All right, and then 6. What do you see there that we haven't had? That pi over 2 minus t is your co-function, right? Cosecant of pi over 2 minus t is the same thing as what? Secant of t. And then sine is sine, but secant becomes 1 over cosine. And then sine over cosine is tan. Questions on any of those? It says this on the top, but the goal is to complete 3 of these. 3 tasks and the completed questions, which we'll talk about in a second too, equal basically a homework pass. So it will be 100 out of 0 points. Your options are tell your parents how much you love and appreciate them. And that one actually is super powerful if it's something you don't typically do. Number 2, call a grandparent, relative, or friend you haven't talked to in a while and actually talk to them on the phone. Number 3, make a list of goals for yourselves, at least 3 short and 3 long-term goals. Do something nice for a stranger, and I do not mean like I held the door open for somebody. You should already be doing that. This is something that you normally would not do. Send an email to your favorite teacher, past or present, telling them how much you appreciate them. It's no extra points if it comes my way, so make somebody else's day, okay? Do volunteer work. Say a sincere prayer of thanks to God for all of your blessings. Again, another thing that, especially if you don't do it often, could have a big impact. And then the 8th thing is kind of what they talked about in that video. Write a letter of gratitude to somebody that's impacted your life and then read that letter to the person. So if you paid attention to that video, you heard him say that the people who wrote the letter, it did help them, but the people who actually got to read it to somebody helps them even better. So I would strongly recommend that you try that process out. It could be anybody, but the goal is to then read that letter to somebody. So the attachment, if you're on that assignment, I want you to open the attachment because we're going to start it together. Again, if you're on that assignment, I want you to open the attachment. This is what you have to turn in. So I used to just do this assignment for the 3 things, and then I got in trouble because it's not math related. So we're going to make it math related, okay? So the first part is just sharing your experience. So in this box, you're going to share with me what you did. Typed, text, I don't care how it is, okay? But share with me what you did, the 3 things that you did and what was your experience. It could literally be like, I've even gotten like pictures, like somebody bought a homeless guy a pizza one time and took a picture with it. It doesn't have to be proof. I am assuming you will not lie about being a good person. I'm hoping you will not lie about being a good person. So you can share it. And if it's something personal, you don't have to overshare. Like if it's not something you want, if your goals include something that you don't want me to know, that's fine. You can say, I made a list of my goals. It doesn't have to be specific, okay? And then the second page is, and the very bottom there, is how we're going to turn this into math, okay? So let's talk about how we could do this together. The idea of this is the pay it forward process, okay? So if you as an individual go out and you do 3 things, we're going to say you affect 3 people. So we start with just one person. That little dot in the middle is you, and that is round 1. And if you go out into the world and you do 3 things, we're going to suppose that you affect 3 other people. And then if each of those 3 people go out into the world and pay it forward, they would each impact 3 more people. 1, 2, 3. And now how many people is it? Started with 1. We went to 3. Then we would go to. If 3 people impacted 3 people's lives, how many people in that next round are affected? 9 people. So then if 9 people each impact 3 people's lives, how many are they getting to? 27. And if 27 people impact 3 each, how many do they affect? 81. Let's see if anybody can get the last one. If 81 people affect 3 people, then how many? 243. What you just did is fill your chart. So the first round impacted 3 people. The second round impacts 9 people. The third round, 27 people. The fourth round, 81. And the fifth round, 243. So you're going to come back and finish this diagram. And those diagrams don't have to be dots. Like, feel free to make them creative. I've seen some super cute stuff there. If you're like an artistic person and you want to draw or you want to use emojis or whatever it is, you're just drawing that. And it didn't have to be, obviously, exactly the way that we did it, but something like that. So then if these are my coordinate points, what's happening to those x? What's happening to the y values? They are growing in what way? It's not a linear model, right? It's an exponential model with a base of 3. So if I had an equation for this model, it would be y equals 3 to the x. And then when I went to go graph that exponential model, it would be 1329, and then the rest would go off the graph. And if the very last question says use the equation to find the amount of people that would be impacted after 10 rounds, how are you going to do that? Plug 10 into the exponent, and then you'll plug it into your calculator. Do you think you could go from there? Yes. Okay, good. All right.